Welcome to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten.
Hi, I'm Wendy. After I graduated with my master's in wellness management, I started my own company, T2 Coaching, health, fitness, and sport.
And I'm Kirsten, an athlete, vegan, life coach, and girl mom, running a business focused on helping others create a life they love.
We are here to explore all things wellness to help you become the person you've always wanted to be.
So if that's why you're here, open your ears and your mind as we tackle the world of wellness together.
Hey everyone, hi Wendy.
Hi, Kirsten. I was just looking at Joey. He looks like a big dog being on your lap.
I know, because he's in front of me, so it's like deceiving.
Very deceiving because I know he's a little dog.
Hi. You want to say hi?
All right. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. I'm trying something different because my internet is really slow. So I went off the internet and I'm sitting outside and we'll see how this sounds, if it sounds any better. But I hear a lot of traffic, so hopefully you guys don't hear a lot of traffic.
Are you outside your apartment?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm on the balcony thing.
I don't hear any background noise.
Okay, perfect. So, Wendy, what's your wellness win? Is it your race?
The race.
Okay.
Probably the race I just did. It's
Go
so funny.
into
I mean, we
detail.
ask this question every time, and I'm never really thinking about it before we do the podcast. So definitely the race.
I wanted to hear your whole race report anyway. So that's a perfect time to talk about it.
Okay, what was your wellness win?
Mine's a really long too. So you go first with your race report.
Okay. So, I can't cover a whole podcast, but I did a race called Quest for the Crest, originally with 12,000 feet of elevation gain. I signed up to do it in 2023. I turned 50 that year, and that was going to be I was going to be the most fit of my life, meaning I was going to go short and fast, long endurance and strength. And I broke my patella about a month or so, maybe 6 weeks before this race in 2020. And so my whole 23, I'm going to be the fittest I've ever been in my life, was the complete opposite. And I never got so unfit in my life because I've been an athlete for so long. And so I decided, going into 2024, they added a 10K. So I'm like, let's transfer my entry to do the 10K because I don't know how I'm going to go up and down with my knee surgery. And I just didn't know. And then in 2024, it was canceled because we had a big hurricane. This is in North Carolina. There's a big hurricane that devastated Asheville and the surrounding areas. So we couldn't do the race. And then in 2025, they weren't rebuilt yet. And there's still so much destruction that we couldn't do the race. So in 2026, 3 years post patella surgery, I'm feeling really good. I'm like, okay, I don't need to do the 10K anymore. Let's finish what I started and let's do the 50K again, originally over 12,000 feet of elevation gain. This year, there was only 11,000 feet of elevation gain because we weren't allowed to go to the very top of Mount Mitchell in Burnsville, North Carolina, because if something happened to someone on the top, it would take rescue crews way too long because of all the detours. Again, everything's not back open yet since the hurricane. It would just take too long for rescue crews to get to the top. So they diverted us. And so I've trained really well for this race. I had some key sessions that really built my confidence. And I felt really good about my taper and everything. Like my legs are feeling really good. And you start the race, you just go right uphill. So again, I was planning on hiking all the ups and not really knowing what the terrain was going to be like going down. My running downhill is down. So I'm like, I'm going to be hiking up. And the first 3 miles, you gain 3,000 feet. And then the descent some was runnable, some wasn't. And I hiked all the way down. It was a really big route and rocks. And it was not my type of downhill running. And I'm like, that's okay. It's early. I'm just going to kind of make my way downhill. And then we went to an aid station, and then we started going back up, and we went back up another climb. Again, hiking, I felt awesome. I was power hiking. I felt really good about that. And then the second climb was unbearable rocks and roots, like huge roots, huge boulders, huge rocks. Not my type of running at all. And my legs, I just really didn't have any snap in my legs. I didn't have any pep in my step. So I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going to be running down this anyways. I'm just going to hike it, enjoy the views. And normally I would have been like, this sucks. Why am I out here? I'm not a trail runner. I shouldn't be here. I just don't, I want to go home. But I wasn't like that at all. I'm like, you know what? I knew this was going to be a long day. I knew I didn't know what I was getting into. And so I'm just going to continue hiking. It's fine. I still feel really good. My nutrition was good. Everything was still feeling really good. And so then we get to this never ending third climb. Again, I'm like, I start feeling a little tired. I probably slowed down a little bit. I'm like, no, this is fine. I was passing all the people that would pass me downhill. I kept catching up to them, and I'm like, oh, they're not that far ahead. I can't believe I caught these people, because they were going downhill quite a much faster pace than I was, but I could get them on the uphill. And then we got to the final descent, and it was kind of runnable, but again, I didn't have any pep in my step. My legs weren't there. We had to hydrate ourselves, so we had to carry a filtered flask to filter water because we were on our own the last 25K, which was no big. That was fine. There was plenty of streams, and I pretty much don't think I ran one step. It was 34 miles. I don't think I ran at all. The times I was running, I tried to get a running cadence again that last downhill with less rock. I just couldn't. My running cadence just turned into a walk cadence. I'm like, I'm not really going any faster. I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
And when my legs don't have that pep in my step and I'm not really running, you don't really lift your legs high up. I could have easily fallen a zillion times. And so I'm like, you know what? You're hiking, you're power walking at a pretty brisk pace because again, my legs weren't tired. I just didn't have any pep in my step. So I got passed by a ton of people on that last downhill, and I'm like, that's okay. You're gonna finish. And so my overall finish time was 12 hours and 15 minutes. My moving time was 11:11:11. I usually get moving time from Strava.
Oh, I love that. 11 is my very favorite number.
Yeah, 11:11:11. And so I'm like, overall, that's not too bad. And the main thing I kept telling myself, I always tell athletes, focus on their why. My why was so different 3 years ago. 3 years ago, being 50, being still very competitive, wanting to be the fittest I've ever been at age 50 is different 3 years later. I'm just not quite as competitive. I don't really, I don't have that, I don't put that pressure on myself to have to win. I do more for the enjoyment experience, which was different before I turned 50. And, when I looked at results, I believe there were 3 50-year-olds that started, and I was the only one to finish. So it makes me feel pretty good. If they had a grand masters division, which some races do when you're 50 plus, you're considered a grandmaster, I would have won the grandmaster, which is always really fun to say. And so overall, again, no negative thoughts, nothing. It was, I turned my phone on silent mode. So I didn't hear my phone beeping. I used it more for emergency if I needed it I take beautiful pictures. I got the most amazing sunrise, and it was a good experience. Which again, I kept telling myself this is a great experience because I'm doing another race in Utah in 8 weeks with 12,000 feet of elevation gain. So this was a really good training for me to know that I'm a power walker now. Never used to be the case. When I started ultra running, I would run up every hill I could because I was an uphill trail. And now I feel really confident that I'm a pretty good power walker uphill. And it was just one of those days that it had nothing to do with my fitness or my preparation. Maybe the taper. I was just flat. Sometimes when you taper, if you don't get it right, you just have flat legs. And that's what happened to me.
Right. So is there like lessons that you would take away from this experience that you will apply to your race in 8 weeks?
number one, I have to look at, I haven't done this yet. It's on my mind. I have to look at my race in 8 weeks. It's called the UTMB Speed Goat 50K in Utah. So if you finish the race, you get a coin. And if you get a coin, you can enter the lottery for the UTMB 50K World
Oh,
Championships in
nice.
France. And so I just wanted to experience a UTMB race and apply for the lottery to maybe get a chance to race in France. And so I have to look at the course. I don't know if there's cutoff time. I don't know what the cutoff times are. This course, we had a 15-hour cutoff time, and I knew I was going to make the every 8 miles. I knew I was going to make the 8 station cutoffs. I knew I was going to make the 15-hour cutoff. But this upcoming race, there may be more stricter cutoffs. So I have to look at that. Number two, one of my friends said the race in Utah is actually easier than the one that I just did. You know, even though the elevation gain is similar, what slows me down is the volume of rocks, the size of rocks, the stepping off the rocks. I mean, there are some steep descents where my knee that I got surgery on, it was actually starting to hurt. And I'm like, oh, geez, I kept touching my knee. I'm like, no, everything feels really strong. Everything feels fine. But just the pounding. So number one, I have to look at the terrain. I have to look at the cutoff times. And I'm just feeling like more confident going into this race in 8 weeks because I just basically did it. And part of the lessons are, I think in general, progress isn't linear. You know, just because I nailed some key workouts where I felt like I can run downhill, I can hike uphill, I can do the elevation gain, no problem. I can do the elevation gain at a certain pace. On any given day, anything can happen. And so it's
Right.
just a kind of reminder that, again, I'm not down. I have no negative, nothing negative came out of this race. It's all positive. And I'm just really super excited that I did have the ability to sign up for this race in 8 weeks. Normally, with the experience I had in the past, 3 years ago before I turned 50, I would have been like, oh, I'm not doing this race in 8 weeks. No way. I can't do it. It's too hard for me. I just would have had a different mindset. So just the mindset shift, reframing your mindset, focusing on the why, the reason you're doing all this stuff is just an important component and a reminder of what I tell my athletes all the time. I have to tell myself.
Right. Yeah. And I was going to say that's a great lesson to anybody listening who their race doesn't go as planned. And we talked about that with my California race. It didn't go as planned and it's no biggie. Like there's going to be other races. There's going to be everyone, even professional athletes, they have amazing days. They have not amazing days. And they're training like to this very specific workouts to get them to a very specific place in every single race, depending on the time of the year. And they still have their ups and downs. And world championships and gold medalists, they have bad days. So why would we not expect us mere mortals to also not have every single race go as planned, especially when they start getting longer than a couple hours?
Right. And I'm gonna jump on this. So I think one of the highlights for me, and I said this during the last podcast, I went to Chattanooga, Tennessee and watched the 70.3. So after my race, it was a long day. I thought it was gonna, again, I was expecting 10 and a half hours based on my training. It took me about 2 hours longer. I got done, hung out maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and I left around 6:15, 6:30 p.m. Drove to Chattanooga, rolled into Chattanooga about 11 p.m. Got a hotel, took a quick shower. I hadn't showered yet. Got out of my car and I could barely walk. Slept about 5 hours. Got up, made it to the 70.3 in time for sunrise and for the cannon to go off. And then I spent all day in Chattanooga, Tennessee, cheering on some athletes I coach as well as everyone else. And again, a lot of those athletes, their swim did not go as planned. The current in Chattanooga this past year, last week, was not as, they didn't have a fast current like they have in previous years. So I know a lot of athletes were disappointed in their swim time. Hopefully not overall time. But again, it was just an amazing weekend, a very long weekend for me. But I felt really good about doing my own race and then going and cheering everyone else the next day. That was really fun and rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think when we have these experiences that don't go as planned or that um, aren't what we thought it would be. As coaches, it's really valuable for our athletes to hear
Mm-hmm.
that because, I've had people and I'm like, oh, this happened. And they're like, oh, no, that's awful, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, actually, this is what I got out of it. And this was strengthen my mindset. And there's so many great things you could pull out of any experience. And we actually did a whole podcast on that like a year ago about, failures aren't what we think of failures, and they're just lessons and new ways to succeed and ways to challenge our thinking and all the important life lessons that might not even have come about if we didn't have that quote failure.
First attempt in learning.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I'm doing in 10 days, I'm doing the Harvest Moon half Ironman. It switched to May
Oh, wow.
31st. It's the first year they've done it in the spring. So it's a really early race in Colorado. It's May 31st. And
Yeah.
I signed up for it at the last minute because I had credit with BBSC. They now own it. And I signed up to get myself motivated and get working out for I'm doing the New Mexico 70.3 in July. And I just moved. I was going through all those changes in my living situation. I was working a lot, subbing a lot of classes, and I wasn't getting my workouts in. And so a lot of times what motivates me is to sign up for a race. And so I was like, oh, what am I doing on the 31st? I don't have Cora. I had on my training plan, it said a long brick. And I was like, oh, I'll just sign up for the 70.3. Like, that's a long brick. And that was, I think,
Mm-hmm.
three weeks ago. And then I thought it would get me like excited to train, and it really didn't. So, on Sunday, this past Sunday, I had all day blocked off. I was going to ride 60 miles, run 10 miles or 5 miles or an hour, whatever I, felt like after, but I had time for it. And I got out there and I one of my I have the electronic shifting, and the last time I rode, one of them quit shifting. So I was like, oh, I have to charge my bike, but I completely forgot. So I start riding my bike and I went to go shift and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to charge my bike. And within minutes, the other one died as well. So the good thing was I was stuck in my granny gear, my very, very, very smallest gear. And I was doing a lot of hills. And so that part was better than being stuck in my big gear where I'd be grinding up these hills. So I was fine going uphill. Downhill, I just had to coast because it was too small of a gear for me to pedal. But then on the flats, I was getting really annoyed because I was moving my legs as fast as they would go. And I was averaging like 9 miles an hour on the flats because I was in such a small gear. So, and there was a bunch of other things that my friend Kat and I, like, she dropped her chain twice. It got stuck. We had to take it out. We were hot, then we were cold, then we were hot again. We had to go fill up our bottles. So we were back and forth at the car. I mean, it was like, we stopped more than we rode, I feel like. But finally, I was like, I can't do this flat thing anymore. I'm so annoyed. So I just went and did a bunch of hill repeats so that it was fine in my small gear. And I ended up only I wanted to get in like 60 miles, and I got in 28 miles in like 3 hours. That was it. And I was like, okay, but at least my elevation was like 3,000 or something because I was going up and down these hills. But and then I just ran
so
a
an electronic shifters, you can't go to manual shift at all.
No. And I don't know like somebody was like, well, you could like change it on the chain ring. I'm like, I'm not going to like ride up a hill and then change it like with my hands. My hands were already covered in grease from getting Kat's chain back on from her chain dropping. But so I was thinking it was really good because I was trying to like at least get in a couple good workouts so that this race I would do decently in the race. But then I'm like, no, you're doing this race as a training race. And it's okay that you haven't done that distance yet because I'm still like 12 weeks out from my race or something like that. So so I wasn't planning on doing that
Good, you
distance.
adapted. I think
Yeah.
for me, that what I'm hearing most is you were adaptable
Yeah.
and you adapted the best way you could, and you did a
Yeah.
great job.
Yeah. And so I got home and I was like, oh my gosh, this was like when
You're
I saw
frozen.
my Strava, it was literally like my average pace was like 9 miles an hour. And I was like, okay, that's not going to get me very like far in my race. But then so then it's kind of what you were talking about. After that, I'm like, I'm not going out to race Harvest Moon. I had credit for a free entry. It's right in my backyard. It's going to force me to put in the miles. And also, I love intermediate races, like C races, D races, because then it reminds me of what I need to work at for my next race. So you reminded me that I'm using it more. It is more a training race, and not to go into it with any expectations. Just ride and run that distance. And that's a huge training day. So my wellness win is also a really giant wellness win. And that is I got my blue belt in jujitsu.
Yes, I saw that. Congratulations.
Thank you. So if you know me at all, or and I've mentioned it on the podcast a couple times, but I've been doing this jujitsu journey for the last 18 months. And it's been a super journey because it has had so many ups and downs. I've never had an activity in my life or a situation in my life other than maybe relationships that was so up and down. And I started it because I wanted my daughter to try it out. And I told her if she did it, I would do it. And her first trial, I was like, what do you think? And she was like, I love it. And she's loved it every day since. And that was a year and a half ago. My first trial, I did not love it at all. I didn't even like it. I wanted to give it some time and just try it out because she was into it. I wanted to, learn about it. I thought it was interesting. I've never done or known anything about any sort of martial arts. And so I stuck with it. I kind of took a little bit of a break last summer because every class I went to, I was getting hurt, not hurt badly, but enough like a tweak in my toe or my wrist was strained or just little things that kept me from doing my 3 sports I love doing, which is swim, bike, run. And so last summer, I pretty much took the whole summer off. I think I might have gone 1 or 2 times. But then I came back at the beginning of this year and started getting more consistent, like twice a week, but still not loving it. And by not loving it, I mean like there were many days where I got into my car and started crying because I felt stupid. I guess that's the only way to say it. Like I felt so lame that I couldn't grasp this. And I felt like I was the only one in the world that like could not get this sport. And every day,
I
so
don't
my
even
friend,
know. You got it better than I did because I've never even done it.
right. And so my friend Kat's like one day we were swimming and I think my foot hurt and I couldn't kick. And I was like, oh, I hurt my foot in jujitsu. I was like, I don't even know why you do it. And she goes, yeah, I don't know why you're doing it anyway. I keep waiting for you to say that you quit. And I was like, I know. I don't know why I'm not quitting. Like something is making me keep going. And then I think it was in February this year, so just a few months ago, a new girl started. And a lot of times before she came, I was the only girl in my classes. And I'm I don't know how old everyone is, but I feel like I'm way older than everyone. So the guys, they most of them look like they're in their 30s or 40s. And I'm just starting this. I started it when I was 52 years old. And so a girl came, she's 38. I think she's turning 38 this week. She's pretty young still. But her and I started partnering. And she's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, me neither. And we would sit and try to figure out things together. And so it made it more fun because now I'm solving these problems without feeling like an idiot because somebody else has no idea also. And then in the meantime, we started we started sending each other like videos and memes online of like people literally not knowing what they're doing. And we're like, oh my gosh, we're not the only ones. Like, we all feel this dumb. And so that really helped, and it got me excited to go. And so I actually, the last few months, I've been trying to go 3 days a week. It just depends on my schedule. And so I've been trying to get 3 days a week in, probably for the last 2 to 3 months. And a couple months ago, I got my fourth stripe on my white belt, and I didn't know what that meant. But I found out it meant that the next promotion, like the next level, was a blue belt, which is right after a white belt. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm like close to a blue belt. And whenever I would grapple with any of the coaches, or we would do like 5 to 11 minute nonstop rolling sessions, which if you guys have no idea what that is, picture wrestlers rolling around for 10 minutes. It's like the weirdest thing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I started like every once in a while kind of knowing what I'm doing. And when I would partner with, if I rolled with one of the coaches and they're like, oh wow, that was a good move, I'm like, what? That was a good move? And one of the coaches a few weeks ago had said like, oh wow, that's total like a blue belt move, or like that, he had mentioned something. I'm like, what? And then on Friday last week, we were finishing up class, and we all kind of like stand in a line, and we pay our respects to each other. And if anybody, like if somebody's getting a new stripe or they have something to say, and all of a sudden the owner, he runs the Friday class, he like pulled up the blue belt and he's like, Kirsten up front. And I was like, what? Totally started crying. Like I was like, my eyes were all watering, and I was like, what? I can't believe this. I'm like bawling, getting my blue belt. And I was just really proud of myself because it was a really hard journey for me, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Physically, it's nothing I've ever done. I've never done a sport where I touch people. I've never done a sport where like they're like, oh, just do what you would instinctually do if somebody grabs you in this way. I'm like, I don't have those instincts. Like that's none of this is anything I instinctually do. So it's just been really challenging. So I felt the accomplishment of like promoting to get my blue belt. It felt like when I finished my first Ironman, because a very similar journey. It was about 18 months in the making. I was learning a bunch of things I hadn't done before. There was a lot of highs and lows. And toward the end, it kind of was coming together, but not really. And then after my first Ironman, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. Even though at the time I hated it, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. And that's what I felt like. I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of myself for sticking with it. I actually do really like this. And it's been interesting for my schedule for the summer. I was only going to be able to go one time a week. And in the last month, I've been looking through my summer schedule and with their schedule and be like, okay, how can I keep going twice a week? How can I, get these extra sessions in? And it's just been an interesting change of attitude. And I'm really excited to keep training through the summer. And it doesn't matter to me right now if I do have little tweaks or sore muscles and I can't do my triathlon training as well. And I thought of that like I I go on Thursdays and Fridays now. And today's Thursday, I go. And then I was like, oh, should I skip Friday because I'm doing the Boulder Monday? And I was like, no, I want to go to Jiu-Jitsu Friday. And if it means my boulders a couple minutes slower, that I don't care. Like that's okay with me. And that's just something I never thought I would be thinking a year ago today.
Yeah, that's a huge transformation.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
So
I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear it. You know, yeah, I mean, I think it's great. You have your priorities have changed. You've adapted. You're seeing the progress. You're getting rewarded. The community, finding that friend or that friend joining that you guys can partner up with. So a lot going on to help you enjoy what you're doing. And we talked about that a couple podcasts ago about finding fun,
Yeah.
finding fun in your sport or making your sport more fun. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and find and make and fun with that was we talked about it. Well, we've talked about it a bunch of times because we had a listener question about, do I do the workout you give me or do I go ride out with my friends because they're going for a long ride this weekend and we're like, go
Mm-hmm.
with your friends. But it also that we also talked about it a lot when we were how to do hard things. And
Yeah.
that's one, when you have somebody in the trenches with you, that's why people recruit people for their long rides. They're like, ride with me so we suffer together. Or like marathon training, come do my long run with me so we can suffer together. And so it's finding, it could be fun in quotations, but finding something that makes it more tolerable, you can do harder things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and Wendy and I knew that we were gonna, have some longer wellness wins. I wanted to hear all about her race. I was excited to share my jujitsu stuff. So we didn't really have much else to talk about with you guys, but we did want to mention because it is May, and last weekend was Mother's Day, and we were kind of talking about her and I, just kind of the differences from what Mother's Day meant before we had kids and what Mother's Day means after we have kids, and we meaning all the mothers out there. And that could be a mother of a child, it could be a mother of a pet. I count pet mothers because before I had my daughter, my dogs were literally my children. I would take them everywhere. I would do all the things. I would spend all my money on them. So they were like my children. So I definitely count pet owners or anyone. I think people think of mothers as people who nurture and take care of and, hold a family together sometimes. So that could be not necessarily with kids. It could be with, them taking care of their own parents or taking care of, a spouse or a friend or someone who needs to be cared for. So when I say Happy Mother's Day, it's pretty much to like all the women who take care of someone. So Wendy, I know you aren't a biological mother, but you're a mother to kids. Dawn has kids, and you're a grandmother. So what are some of the things that you've noticed that are different in your life after from not having any of that to now?
Well, I mean, they always wish me happy Mother's Day. And I'm always like, they're older. I'm more like a sister than I am a mother to them. Although I didn't know Zach when he was 5 years old. So he's been part of my life since he's been very young. And like you said, we have the grandkids. One is turning 16 next month and the other just turned 12. So I think the main thing for me that's changed dramatically on Mother's Day is living close to my mom. And so we moved here in 2016, 10 years ago. And just being able to celebrate with her every Mother's Day, it's a big deal. And she lives in an independent apartment, which is where I am right now. And we usually come to her apartment and do like the Mother's Day brunch at Holbrook, which is great. But I think just getting closer to my mom since I've moved closer to her has made Mother's Day more significant in my life. As well as, one big change was we used to do, a marathon on holidays. And on Mother's Day, we did what's called a step mill marathon, the revolving treadmill or the revolving step mill, or otherwise known as the gauntlet. And I used to spend hours and hours, like 4 hours on that. I don't do that anymore. And I haven't even thought about it until you mentioned it. So it's like, that has been forgotten. Maybe it's been forgotten because since I broke my knee, I kind of ended all those challenges because I had to. Like in 2023, I couldn't do a Mother's Day step mill marathon. But then just other priorities have changed since, getting married and having stepkids and kind of raising Zach a little bit more than Don's other two older daughters. Just significant more just priorities in life, family.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember because that's what Wendy and I were. I was like, the main thing, like my mother's art, Wendy and I, my Mother's Day tradition was the step mill marathon. So I'm like, oh, Mother's Day, I'm going to wish my mom happy Mother's Day. I'm going to do my step mill marathon and then I'll have dinner with my mom because I've always lived really close to my mom. And now that I have a daughter, it's definitely different. I did the step mill marathon, I think, well, definitely the first year because I was still breastfeeding. And I remember pumping. I did like 2 hours of it when my daughter was in kid care. Then I pumped, and then my mom came and picked her up because I can't have her in kid care for 4 hours. My mom came and picked her up. I got back on the step mill and I finished it. And then I went and picked up my daughter from my mom's, and we all hung out together and, and had our little Mother's Day celebration. But I think that was the last year I did it because, like you, Wendy, it started just taking on a different meaning. It wasn't a holiday for me to just do a challenge. It was a time to actually honor myself as a mother. And the first few years, honoring myself meant having somebody else take care of my daughter so that I could go do whatever I wanted to. And a lot of times that did include a form of a long workout. And now it's kind of half and half. Um, my, I think Cora was with her dad the first half of the day. So it was his weekend with her. So I still did my own thing. And then I picked her up. I did have to work a little bit. I picked her up, and then we did go to my mom's and celebrate it. No, we went out to dinner. But my mom does a really good job of helping Cora pick out presents for me for Mother's Day. And so that's just really, because I mean, Cora is not going to go to the store and buy me a Mother's Day present. But my mom always makes sure that, she makes me a card. She picked out this really cute card this year. She writes something sweet on it. She found this trophy that said best napper on it. So
Oh
I
yeah,
have
I
a trophy.
remember that.
Yeah, so I got the best napper trophy. And then I got this giant pink, like fluffy, stuffy keychain. So it's now on my keychain. So I'm never losing my keys again. It's like as big as my hand. So now I'm officially have a giant fluffy keychain. So that's my official motherhood token.
I love it. Thank you for sharing.
I know. So yeah, so now it's still about honoring myself because it is Mother's Day. And I'm still at the time in my life where I do like to spend time by myself. Where I know like older, maybe not just because they're older, but like my mom, her goal on Mother's Day is to do as much as she can or talk to all of her kids. So she doesn't need to be by herself. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Her treat for being a mother is to see all her kids. Where I'm
Hmm.
still in the stage of my child, since she's only 7, I still do want some time alone. So the past few years have been half and half. Like I'll spend some time on my own honoring myself, and then I will spend time with her, um being her mother, and then spend time with my mother. So luckily we're all really close together, and we can still spend the 3 generations together every Mother's Day.
That's so nice.
So yeah, we would love to hear about your guys' Mother's Day. If you have any Mother's Day traditions, whether it's step mill marathon or dinner with all the moms in the family, or even if you're not a mother of a child, do you celebrate, I'm the mother of my dogs? We should always, I feel like you guys know this about Wendy and I, we love celebrating ourselves, we love celebrating our friends, our family. And I think it's really important to honor yourself and celebrate yourself for things you're proud of, your accomplishments. Wendy and I just did that today. We spent this whole podcast celebrating ourselves and what we just accomplished in the last week. So we're all about you guys celebrating yourself.
Hmm.
So did you have any final words of wisdom? Anything else you wanted to share today? Nope. All right. I was going to share, but I kind of already said it when we talked about um our athletes that we coach, if they want to do something with a friend or changing out their workouts. We talked about that a couple days ago because I just had a athlete this morning and she did the Colfax half marathon a few days ago. And then she got sick. I said, yep, I always do that after a big race. I tend to get a little under the weather. And she's like, and I just don't have much energy this week. And I'm like, take this week off. And I gave her kind of a general skeleton of like easy 3-mile run on Thursday. Just an easy, maybe hour to 2 hour workout Sunday. That's usually when she'll do like a 4 or so hour workout. And then she messaged me and she was like, okay. And she was like, oh, I already told a friend I would ride 50 miles with her on Sunday. And I was like, well, if you're up for it, like, awesome, ride with your friend. Like that would bring you joy. And it's right in line with her training for a 70.3. But then when I talked to her this morning at Masters, she was like, I don't know, I am still feeling a little under the weather. And I was like, yeah, just wait until Sunday. If you're feeling great and you feel like it would be fun to ride with your friend, ride with your friend. If you're not feeling great, go to the gym, easy spin for an hour and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like it goes along with what Wendy and I are always saying about listen to your body, take care of yourself, switch the workouts when it makes sense or when it's necessary. Enjoy your workouts and have fun with your training and make it fit in with what's going on in your life.
High fun value is most important metric.
Yep. High fun value, HFV.
Yes.
That's Wendy's metric, HFV. All right. What are you most excited about for this upcoming week? What's your high fun value activity?
I'm probably going to go to Amicalola State Park over the Memorial Day weekend.
Nice.
Which is
Are you
one of
going
my
to
favorite
run?
venues. I'll either do steps or I'll do a hike. I'm not really running much this week, but I'm moving my body. So I'll either go up and down the stairs or do a hike. I haven't decided yet. Depends on the weather. We're supposed to get a lot of rain.
Yeah. We've gotten a lot of rain the last couple of days, which is good since it
Mm-hmm.
didn't snow. It snowed like 3 times this whole winter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing Boulder and I'm really excited about it, even though I kind of like a few like 2 months ago, I was like, okay, this is my big goal. I'm going to train really hard. And then I've been running once a week. And so I'm like, you know what? I like the Boulder. It's a really fun race. I'm still going to go as hard as I can and see what happens. But I literally have no expectations and I'm totally fine with that.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Just did
High
it.
fun value.
I know. Yeah, it'll be a high fun value day. And this is really awesome that's coming up on Monday is Memorial Day. And I usually teach 3 classes at the gym. And it's for the city of Westminster. So I get paid time and a half when I work on a holiday. And so I always go back and forth in my mind, like, because they give you the option if you want to teach your classes on the holiday. If you don't, they just cancel your class. They don't try to find a sub. But if you want to teach, you have your classes. And so most of the time I end up teaching because I'm like, I like teaching. I want to be available for my classes. And I get paid time and a half. So I was going back and forth. Like my Boulder wave starts at 6:52. So I could go teach. My first class is until 9. So I could teach all 3 of my classes. But then sometimes if I agree to teach a class on a holiday and the holiday comes, I'm like, oh man, I would rather be like out riding or going to swim because all the outdoor pools are open now.
Right.
So I was going back and forth and kind of straining, like we've talked about like decision fatigue, like I can't decide. Well, they sent out an email like a week ago and they're like, from now on, all the city facilities are going to be closed on Memorial Day, Labor Day, and 4th of July.
Oh,
And I was like,
fantastic.
I know. I was like, that just made my decision for me so much easier.
Nice.
So I have nothing else to do. My daughter's with her dad this year. That's why I'm doing the Boulder. So I think after the Boulder, I think I am going to go for a long ride. It's supposed to be really nice. I'll be in Boulder anyway. I got to charge my bike before that. I have 3 days to charge it. Do a long ride and then swim in the outdoor pool and just make it a long, like, outdoor day.
Sounds fantastic.
I know. I'm excited about it. So you guys have an amazing week. Wendy, have an awesome time up on one of your favorite places to go.
You too.
And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for being here.
Make it a great day.
Thank you for listening to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten.
If you want to learn more about us
or anything we talked about today, check out the links in our show notes.
We would love to know what you think of our podcast and what you want more of. So drop us a comment, send us a message, and help us out by leaving us a rating and a review.
And don't forget to let us know your wellness win for this week.
Thanks for listening.
Make it a great day.